Hi, I'm Emily Yee, and I'm a licensed clinical social worker. I specialize in working with gifted teens and their families, or I sometimes just like to say intense people. And so we're kind of unpacking relationship patterns and how to break them down, rebuild them into something healthier, things that I see a lot of the time in therapy. So today's topic is, do you ever disappear when you're struggling and then wonder why you feel so alone? And that's a pattern that happens subconsciously. It's not necessarily a choice, but it's something that you see over and over again, or maybe people lovingly point out to you that you tend to want to be by yourself, or you avoid hanging out with people, or you seem like a loner. And you might look around and kind of wonder, what other way is there to be? And I relate to that pretty hardcore. So we're going to dive in this together. And it never is me talking from a place of I've figured this out, but oftentimes it's something that either I've had to walk through and get to the other side and sharing with you some bits of the journey, or something that I'm researching and looking for answers from a very curious place because it's something that is deep within me. So we'll be on this journey together. So, if we're working from the perspective in therapy that says that our behavior is an adaptation to getting our needs met, so every behavior serves a purpose and we are wired to get our needs met. And so, from a very young age, we establish these behaviors which become patterns and we're looking to get our needs met. Then, over time, these behaviors end up being the problem that keeps us from the connection that we are desiring. So if that's our foundation, that we believe that behaviors serve a purpose, they're not just random, then we would kind of assume that isolating is a survival strategy. Getting alone when you're feeling overwhelmed or when you're feeling needy is something that you do in order to preserve relationships in your life. And so if we're doing it in order to be connected with people, it's probably because we interpreted at some point for some reason that asking for help, exposing our neediness didn't meet our attachment need, our real desire. And so we learned that, hey, I actually get my attachment need met if I lay low, if I don't show that I'm needy, if I'm easy to be around, and even if I'm alone, it works out better than if I put myself out there and ask for this attachment need to get met. So people who tend to isolate, this is for you. It's the idea that isolation is a survival strategy. It's not that you don't need people. It's that you don't want to feel needy and you don't want to be rejected by people. And so whether you're a loner or somebody who loves people and is more even like a wave, like too much of wanting to be around people, all of us need relationship. All of us need support. We need each other. We need people. But some of us operate from this learned behavior early in life that it's better for my survival if I don't portray that I'm needy. And I actually don't even want to feel needy. So I'm going to suppress that I have any needs and potentially busy myself in some other way. If you are like this, you might wonder, is there another way? I thought that's just kind of what we did. And that the other way is showing up messy, showing up not okay, answering the phone when you don't really have the words or the energy, sharing the failure, sharing the thoughts of I'm not doing great, just as equally as sharing the, oh my gosh, things are great and this is what's going on. And having the other person hold space for things not being great and not trying to fix it, just kind of like, oh, that sounds really hard. Well, I'll talk to you tomorrow. And this shared sense of we are human, we're limited. There's going to be times that are good, times that are not good. And we don't need each other to rescue each other all the time, but we do need to be able to feel not alone in our hard times and in our good times. And so if you get this sense, or you had this sense as a child, that messy feelings, negative emotions aren't safe, because either the caregivers overdo the fixing, or they shame you for feeling that way, or they gaslight you and say you shouldn't even feel that way, that you're being ridiculous, that you make a mountain out of a molehill. Just anything that kind of makes you feel unsafe about sharing. Usually we learn that before we're 5 years old, and figuring out how to find safe people to be messy with, and how to be a safe person to be messy with, is something that we're walking through as we get into our teen and adult years, if we're trying to break those early patterns. So if you relate to this tendency to shut down and to stay within yourself, what you're missing out on is co-regulation. So the healthy alternative is that you share the negative experience, and the person that you're sharing with says, that sounds really hard, validating that you're having negative emotions and that you're human, and this happens, that a lot of things in the world are very difficult, very painful. And at the same time, they give you a sense of, I'm not leaving because it's hard, and I'm not mad at you because you're sad. It's okay. You're okay. And that sense of, I'm okay even if I'm having negative feelings, is what you're missing out on by not sharing it. We can often imagine the worst case scenario that's sometimes written by our childhood and early life experiences, that it's not our negative expression of emotion isn't going to be received well. There's nothing we can do about it. Just shut down, or even that we're bad for feeling that way to begin with. And so we stop asking, but you're missing out on the opportunity for somebody to remind you, hey, you're not crazy or bad for feeling that way. We've all been there, and it's okay. And I'll sit here with you while you feel that way. Just needing company. And so here's another thing that you might be missing out on, is the deeper relationship where the person knows all the parts of you and has been given the opportunity to show up in all the parts of you, the messy, the good, and just be with you in it. And so when we are always on the up and up, and everything is a great relationship and happy times and good vibes only, but then we have these gaps of time that pass in between, and the person on the receiving end doesn't ever feel safe to share their negative experiences or feelings, because they don't want to appear imperfect if you're not imperfect, or if you're perfect. And so we just have these shallow relationships that you don't really share the depth of your thoughts and your experience in life. And that's really what you're missing out on by not sharing when you're going through a hard time and staying isolated. So in therapy, we often talk about these truths that, I guess, break what we want to be true. So if we want it to be true that I don't need anyone else, and I can do this by myself, and I don't need to ask for help, I can solve all of this within myself, and I can just show up as perfect and put together. We really want that to be true. And the hard truth is that we do need other people. We can't do this by ourselves. And it's actually better and more of a rich life experience when we support others and allow others to support us. It's a paradigm shift of what if the experience of living was richer and more enjoyable by sharing our vulnerability, by sharing when we're sad. And it's a big risk, but what if the payoff is worth it? And so that's something to consider if you're kind of leaning up against this and thinking, I don't want to risk that. Yeah, I think I'd rather just keep myself perfect by myself. It could be that you're getting less of a quality experience in life by not really reaching out for what we're capable of as humans in terms of our connection with each other, and how much that benefits you in your soul and makes you feel like life is worth living and more fulfilled, even though it could feel like, oh, by sharing this, I'm sharing that I'm not good enough and that I'm imperfect. It might actually be the way to feel fulfilled. So if you feel very motivated right now, like, okay, how do I take steps out of isolating myself when I'm sad, and how do I connect with others? I would say start really small. Baby steps are the only way to get anywhere, just tiny steps in the right direction. And so if somebody says, how are you doing? And you're not doing so good, you could reply, not so great. Very honest, but keeping it simple. You might even add, I don't need fixing, but I could use some company. And in sharing that, you're sharing the honest truth, you're asking for connection, and that's a really hard step. And so using that script a little bit of, I'm not doing so great, I don't need fixing, I could use some company, could be the first step in building this muscle to kind of share and ask for support when you need it. So taking a moment and thinking about who in your life do you trust enough to reach out to if you needed support. This could be very helpful, or it could be kind of like, that's my problem. I actually don't have any people that I trust enough to reach out to. If you do, it would be helpful to go ahead and just use your hand and paper and write their names down of, these are people that I could tell that I'm having a hard time, without saying, I need you to fix it, or, actually probably saying the opposite. I don't need you to fix it. I just want you to know me and know that I'm having a hard time. If you don't have people to write down, then that's kind of where we would start, is, do you have people that you're intentionally seeking out for a relationship? And so that would be, where could you meet people, or who do you have in your life that potentially could be somebody you trusted, but you don't really reach out and engage with them? And so we have to start somewhere. You have to kind of move the meter for wherever you are, and then where do we need to start the baby steps? By isolating, we keep all of our stuff close to our chest and we carry it by ourselves. And that alone is heavy. But the piece that's the heaviest of that is thinking I'm the only one, or I am maybe not the only one, but pretty unique in whatever this is that I'm carrying. And when we share that and we connect with others, it heals that wound of feeling like we're the only one. And it heals the shame of, this thing is so terrible, or I'm bad, or I'm different, because we share the human experience, and you're reminded that other people have struggles, maybe not the same exact one, but can relate to struggling and suffering, and they don't judge you for your thing that you're dealing with if you're working with healthy people in your life that can offer that for you. So connection heals shame, but only if you can share the real you. And that might start with being honest with yourself, might start with being honest with a therapist. Again, finding where you are in this journey and just taking a baby step in the right direction. So I hope that was helpful. And if you want to talk more about relationships and just patterns that maybe you're living out right now and actually really want to change and understand where they come from, I would love to work with you. My name's Emily Yee, again, and I'm working out of Florida as a licensed clinical social worker. You can find all my information on this YouTube channel, but my email address is emilykateyee@gmail.com, and I have a website called jacksonvillecreativetherapy.com. So I hope to talk to you and hope you have a good rest of your day.